Hey, welcome back to the Daily Dose of Dopamine with Dr. Robert Cochran, me, Susan Scarlett, co-host and first follower, and brand new Daily Dose buddy and Yaks participant, Amy Young.
Thank you. Hi.
Amy, I was going to ask you about your Parkinson's. You mentioned this being a really new diagnosis. And did it take you by surprise when they said the word Parkinson's?
Well, no, because I actually, in a lot of ways, I'm the one who sought it out. I have enough other medical conditions that I acquired that I knew something was wrong, and I would go do the research and I would see the doctors and I'm saying, I think I've got this going on. And then I finally got a label. I felt better.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I know what to do. And it was the same thing with this. It started out as an essential tremor diagnosis. And then I started looking into my family. I'm like, essential tremor, Parkinson's, both sides of the family.
Oh, wow.
Have changed from, so I wasn't surprised, but at the same time, when I went to get my DAT scan, the brain scan that I got,
yeah,
it was like, yeah, it'll probably be fine, because in my situation, it's always been no, the negative, no, the diagnosis comes out, no, you have this problem. And I'm like, no, it'll be fine. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's not fine.
Yeah.
It's not. So
well,
and
you got it.
Sorry. Your turn. Go.
That's fine. I was just going to say, I was actually going to transition. So if you had something to follow up with, go ahead. Because
that you had that experience and we're pretty much alone. And now if you choose, you're not so much alone, because there's a gang of us who have all had that experience of years of weird symptoms and no diagnosis. And then none of us expecting Parkinson's to really be true. It's like maybe in the differential, but not me.
Yeah. And I didn't realize all the other symptoms that come with the disease that I have now.
Boy. Yeah. What
everybody else had just thought it was, like tremors and, and memory problems and cognition problems later on, but there's a lot more.
How's your handwriting?
Well,
it's sloppy. If I want it to be really neat, that's when I get small to try to control it better.
It's different.
It depends. If I'm on my medication's working, I can still write some okay lettering.
Yeah, intent for a lot of people changes a lot, and again, it's just how hard you have to work. Yeah, I see that a lot. Let me ask you this, because this fits in that way. The idea of working for fun, the idea of working for joy or gratitude, that doesn't seem like many things people would go after, but you did something to me extraordinary. You requested a song in last week's jam that was just a really out there song. And you don't know this part, but I told Susan, when I first got the request, I went, no, that's not going to work. And I say no to hardly anything, not because I didn't love the song, but I went, it's just too out there. And I immediately caught myself and said, I can't say no. I have to say yes and the song was Manat by the Muppets. And so tell me about finding joy, cultivating gratitude, absurdity, all those things, and why you gave us Manat.
Well, I'm a pretty wacky person, I guess. And, if you're in my house, you can see it's very eclectic. I've come from a theater background, my family and just friends and everything. So I like I told you, I worked with the Bologna brothers. I did the Renaissance Fair. I've worked lots of different things. So there's a lot of that creativeness around me and wackiness and stuff like that. And I picked out that day because I had just, I stumbled on the video looking for something else for some reason. And it's not that I haven't seen it before, but I stopped and I watched it and it made me feel really good. And I went, oh, I wonder. And so
Oh, man, it was a grand slam. That was just throughout the hour. We kept
Watching the video going,
callbacks.
you know, just-
Well, and Amy, what I want you to know, I mean, I think I mentioned part of it that night, but it's really true and so important that, you know, you gave the gift that planted a seed, and you know enough about improv to know it's almost like long form. That's how I build my curriculum. I start with, you know, the song and I try to pull the strings on it to say, how can I build a theme based off of that? So you
Oh,
give me such a gift of absurdity, which is
Oh,
one of my
that's great.
favorite forms of comedy. I love absurdity.
okay, I'll find more.
Yes, please. And therefore, what you know, it, as we say, we start yes anding this, and then people they add to it, and all of a sudden it becomes this thing, and it was great. I mean, Manat hit with people in that room that night.
You can't go wrong with the Muppets.
So I gotta tell you, I'm vacationing with some friends and I told them this story about Manat coming up as our song. And they both instantly dropped into two different phrases they've adopted to that tune. One is, I am enough. Do, 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 do. I am enough. Do, do, do. And the other one is, so now we know. Da, 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 da. So now we know. Da, 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 da. And we've been singing Manat stuff for the last couple of days.
That's interesting. That's
Especially so now you know that comes up a lot. It's easy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and if you notice in the video, it's the ones that it's the creatures that are going, you know, that are saying all the time. They're looking at the guy in the middle and going, no, you're not
Right.
no,
He doesn't care about that. He's all up in their face.
you know, and they do takes to the camera like, what is this guy doing? So but they finally
Come on.
accept it.
Keep up the crazy. Bring it on.
Well, I apologize for having to do this. We went Manat crazy over a little bit here. Amy, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
Sure.
the contribution of you. Keep bringing, the absurdity, the fun, everything that is you, because I do believe from a health and a community standpoint, that's how we become our best, when all of us can bring our whole selves. And you're doing a great job with that. So thank you.
Thanks. Well, I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
All right. We'll
We
see you
are-
on the next Daily Dose of Dopamine.